Hello. Welcome back.
What is it? Oh, shitbags. Oh, welcome back. Episode 47, like Brennan was about to say. But
Yeah, you stole my thunder.
yeah,
Sorry.
little slow morning. It's all right. We're getting going.
No coffee yet.
Need more caffeine. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, listening, whatever it is. Another great episode. Super excited to have this going on. Thank you again for listening, watching. Thank you to all the sponsors, Taylor's Tins, Jobtown, Crew First, Toxic Expression. Just crazy that we keep growing and keep going so far. So just another wild day. Awesome. Glad to be here. So thank you, everybody. And I think that's it. We don't got any big announcements right now. Just kind of plucking along, almost getting to episode 50. So it'll be a big milestone. But we still do have some merch available. So I guess it'd be the only thing if you want to catch
order
one.
some.
Yep, everything online on the website should be updated of how much we got left. So we're getting low on sweatshirts and t-shirts, but it's been great. Hope everybody had a great. This is going to be in August, so I guess it was just 4th of July. But anyway, thank everybody for tuning in. Let's bring in the man of the hour. Let's get Ryan in here now. Ryan, how's it going?
Hey, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
Fantastic. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Why don't you go ahead and give a quick introduction about yourself?
Man, I'm not good at that kind of stuff. Real quick, I'll just tell you, being straight up, my name is Ryan McCormick. I work as a fire chief of Alexandria Fire Department just outside Little Rock, Arkansas. I run First In Fire Conference for the last 6 years in Little Rock, Arkansas area. And long story short, I have been in the fire service for 26 years. Love the job. I'm into the job, actually probably too much into the job. And I wanted to make it better, not just the fire service, but also you and the firemen and those that I work with. And so I love to train. I know as a chief, everybody wants you to sit in your desk and not get out there with everybody else. But I want to get out there and around the kitchen table and around the hose bed and pull hose and train just like the rest of them. And so I understand my place, but I also want to be in their place too. So, but anyway, I'm very appreciative of you guys inviting me to this podcast, New Dogs, Old Tricks. And I look forward to seeing what kind of squirrel moments we're going to have this afternoon, this morning as we go down talking the questions. But anyway, long story short, I just love the ability to make a change in the fire service and impact other people's lives. And so if I have one nugget to share, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah, awesome. Absolutely. That's been the best part about this. We love that everyone can get something from it. And that's been the cool thing they hear from people that we meet and know that have listened, and it's pretty cool. So
awesome.
Well, you made a little bit of a mention about it. So I'm assuming that's why he sent in the question, but which, reminder, send in questions. And so thank you to our previous guest, John, who got us in touch with you. He did send in a question for you.
John's a good man right there. John's good people.
So you mentioned that you think you're maybe a little bit too into the job. And John's question was, how do you keep your work-life balance? You said you always seem to be going 1,000% all the time. And said, how do you do it?
How do I keep work and life balance? Is that what the question was? Yeah. John always asks me those questions, and I don't have a good answer to that because I just don't. I think really the best way of saying keeping life and family and everything balanced is making time to stop. And I think that's the biggest part of life in general is just making time to stop. As you get older in the fire service, and even as in life, you realize there are things that you think that are important are really not. And so to me, I used to focus on a lot of different things rather than my family. And I'll just be transparent. I think that's part of the fire service is we focus on our job, our career, and we give seconds and thirds to our families. And I think, I'm a believer, but I also believe that you got to have a strong relationship and a family behind you to support you in your journey. But to answer the question is don't give leftovers to your family. And I think that's where we tend to fail in life and in the fire service and in the public safety aspect is we put our career priorities and then we put our family and that aspect last. And so I found out, I have a wife and we're over 20 years married and 2 kids that are still in and out of the house. And I just realized that I just got to stop. And when I say stop, I don't want to give my family leftovers anymore, and they should be my priority, and that's what I'm doing. I really believe that the fire service is going to be here tomorrow, the next day, the next day, and the next day, and it really is. But with your family, after you retire, who's going to be there for you, right? Or if you choose to leave, who's going to be there for you? The fire service isn't really going to be there. You can say all you want. The fire service will replace your job in a matter of minutes after you retire. And so what you have to worry about is your family. Their family is going to be there for life. And even though we have family in the fire service, it's 2 big different things. You have family fire service and you have family who love you and will be a part of your family for part of your life for the rest of your life. And so I go all the way around the circle to answer the question is I just got to stop. Sometimes it just takes a moment just to stop and say, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to stop today and I'm going to focus on going home, taking care of family, being there, turning the phone off. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's the hardest part of my life right now are these 2 stupid phones. And one's work phone and one is personal phone. And if I could, and that's where our life is in the world is a cell phone technology, but turn it off. Also find some time for yourself, and not get overwhelmed. And whether you like to just get out on a lawnmower or go fishing or go hunting or I really don't know what else there is to do other than those couple aspects. And then be with my boys who are dear and love my life. They're not my boys anymore. They've grown up to be men, but and then my wife, she has been very humble for allowing me to be able to be into the job and then passionate about the job. And then not just more than that, but dedicated to the job. And again, she's been given those leftovers. And I've realized that, and it's time. A while back, I realized, hey, that's not right, and I think that takes integrity to stop doing that, and changing your mindset, and also changing your focus, because I believe that's where a lot of our divorces in the fire service and it comes into play is we don't prioritize our wives or our other behalves or our family, and again, they get the leftovers. And so saying all that is fine. You have to prioritize your own time to make sure you give enough to everybody.
Awesome. Absolutely. Awesome. I like that. Still talking about, like you mentioned, giving back to the fire service and making it better. The next one we have, how difficult was creating a new fire conference and what was your inspiration?
Oh, man. A little background for me is I was a training captain for many years for a city outside of Little Rock it was Bryant Fire Department. And I told you earlier, I love training. I love being a part of learning and teaching. 15, 16 years ago, I had the opportunity to meet Ron Richards with Task Force 1 Incorporated. And it's a training team that travels all over the United States. And I was able to get involved with that, start teaching and traveling the United States and showcasing just a little bit of what I know, and it's probably what I don't know, showcasing it even worse. But the audience took it, right. So I say all that to go into the first in conference. I came back and I just felt that there was more and there was more opportunities to bring something to Arkansas, which we just didn't have I would say not even just a conference, but just a larger gathering to bring some of the I'm going to call them my friends from that I've networked around the United States with and through FDIC and teaching with them and going with them and learning from them and bringing the FDIC I guess, atmosphere to Arkansas, but in a smaller format. And I just started off with a weekend event, and it just kind of blew up from there. And then when I say blow up, it just kind of got stronger and stronger, more involvement, more people of my friends and networking from around the United States. Like, hey, what's this First In conference about? And so it just kind of started grabbing people's attention. And honestly, really, what the main mission of the First In is just to ensure that I guess the biggest way is bringing names to Arkansas that you have to go travel to go see.
Yeah,
and that's the biggest thing, because I know we're in a very I'm going to say a cautious financial atmosphere in the United in our lives right now, and so everything costs, right? And so my goal is to keep the price down on these training conferences or the First In conference, and bringing them and maximize your feedback from what you're getting from the folks. And so, I try to jam pack as many, I'm gonna call them the cool kids in the fire service that get out there and teach, and that, the name recognitions, and just bring them to Arkansas. And so I think we've done it. I think I've done it, and it's really not about me. It's just about trying to make your training opportunity that people won't be able to go travel all over and bring it home. We're closer to home.
Yeah, awesome. I like it a lot. We talked about almost every day. I mean, it's one of our questions later, just regarding all the conferences around and which ones to go to. But it is pretty cool just seeing how many pop up now, and that when we were first getting in, I mean, there was a couple here and there, and you started hearing people talk about it, and now, I mean, it's like it's got to be in every state. I have no doubt it's in every state that there's at least one conference that you can go to, and that you can, it's not that hard, not that far to travel, and there's probably ones in the state right next to you that come. Like, it's really cool how easily accessible these conferences have become.
Oh, very, very much. And I think I really do. I really do think that, when I started the First In conference was about 9 years ago, and it just it really didn't have a name. And so it just kind of, we're going to have a conference, we're going to do this training and people coming in. And then as it grew, it kind of like, hey, I got to have a name with it. But I say all that to go into what I'm getting ready to share is, I do my best. Like you said, there's conferences all over the place, right? And everywhere that you can go into. Is my goal is to not to affect somebody else's conference in the same area within a 250-mile radius. So if my date is this date, I do my research to make sure that, hey, there's nothing else going on in close, because I don't want to take away from somebody else's opportunities and somebody else's vision and passion. And so I think that's a big thing that kind of is important in the fire service.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. That's cool. Our next one that we have, how has your passion grown throughout your career?
Ooh, that's a good one. Man, passion goes up and down. I truly believe passion goes up and down. You can have really good days and you can have bad days. Part of my passion is just getting out and seeing our guys succeed. Our success stories, right? And that's really what the passion for me is seeing that light bulb click, that the change agents in the fire service of watching you guys, our guys learning and then putting it in play somewhere. Passion also is just talking. This right here, you're going to get me excited, and I'm going to be up all night long thinking about what I just said or what I didn't say or what I should have said. But I do believe passion comes from each person has different kind of passion. And not my passions may be different than your passion or somebody else's passion. And I realized that a long time ago, because I asked a question, I asked a question one day to one of my guys on shift. I said, why can't you have the same kind of passion as me? Because at the end of the day, we're still doing the same job. Mm-hmm. So what is our passion? Why is our passion not the same? Well, not everybody drinks the Kool-Aid, right? Not everybody does what you want them to do. or what you feel that is important to you. And so I would share that one of the biggest things that needs to be the passion about is don't be afraid if your passion is different than somebody else's passion, right? That doesn't mean they're wrong. That doesn't mean you're right. It just means that you have your passion's different. You may have a passion of fishing, right? But going back to the fire service, right, is passion is I just get excited for other people's success. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest part of my passion is watching others succeed.
Awesome. It's a great feeling, especially as an instructor, to see someone just kind of take it in leaps and bounds and go. It's pretty awesome to see.
Thank you.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced on the job, and how did you overcome them?
Man, we all have haters, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna go down one avenue and I'm gonna come back to the other avenue for a second. Is just for a second is overcoming that question, or overcoming your hey, tell me that one more time, because I just lost track. See that squirrel moment? That question.
It's all good. What are some of the biggest challenges that you faced, and how have you overcame them?
Man, there you go. That's what it was. I should have wrote that down. So long story short is challenges in the fire service is for me is, I think, making sure that everybody's happy. That's a horrible challenge to do, because it's never going to happen.
Nope.
It's just never going to happen. I'm an aggressive firefighter. I'm an aggressive fire chief, and I'm an unapologetic fire chief, just FYI. I'm not the micromanager. I'm not to sit back and tell you guys what to do on a fire scene. I expect you to know your job. I just do. And if you're not willing and capable of doing the job, then I don't want you here. And so some of those get me, I guess, looked at differently, because I hold people to expectation and the accountability. There's a lot of people that don't want to be held accountable to it, and so, or to the job as well. But I say all that to go is I try to win over or my problems that I get with folks, or just problems in the fire service, with showing them that we can do it. Mm-hmm. And you basically, hey, I can do it. Where are you guys at right now? That's not cocky. That please don't think that's not coming at you as cocky. Is I'm going to show you how I can do it by showing you that I can do it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest challenge that folks have, because some folks can't do it, but they try hard to do it, but they just can't get it. Mm-hmm. And I go back to the haters, man. I got a line of folks in the haters box ready to swing, right? And I just give them tickets to get in line, just wait, when over. But we all do, though. We all have those haters, and a lot of that fire service hate comes from the individual's not able to keep up. Mm-hmm. You're challenging them, or you're challenging something, or you're challenging your crew to do better, your department to make yourself better, and it's almost as is they don't want to see you succeed, and I don't agree with that analogy, nor do I don't agree with why people would think that, because I do want you to succeed. The fire service does want you to succeed. I think the biggest problem is you have that mindset of you don't want people to succeed. Well, what about the customers that we serve? Mm-hmm. And our citizens that we serve, that we choose to protect, right? They don't want you to not succeed. Mm-hmm. So if I come on, if we can arrive on scene on an incident, on a fire, or whatever, and we get off moving with a purpose and moving with an aggressive mindset, and you don't like that, well, go ask the homeowner, or go ask the citizens what they deserve. You want them to hit it hard from the yard, or do you want us to go try to save something from you in your house? Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if I answered the question correctly to what you asked, but I kill them. I guess not really kill them, but I'm saying is those that are. Yeah, never mind. I'm gonna go down another pipe. I'm just not going down there. So
I mean, we got time. You absolutely can.
No, we're good. I better not. I better get myself. I don't want to get myself in trouble. So, but
I mean, I will say
sometimes just to stop, and so I'm gonna stop on that.
That was your first piece of advice. Back to the first question. There you go.
Yeah.
That's just different setting, but.
Absolutely.
No, I mean,
absolutely.
I will circle it back a little bit to kind of what you were talking about with the homeowners, because we talk about it here, like the people that we serve, just the things that if they knew went on, and you could be the most tuned in, the quickest on the fire scene, like it will not be fast enough for that homeowner, especially if they are like they're out there standing, or you, God forbid, their kids inside or a loved one, like. And that was something that you kind of, I at least kind of realized going in, is like, it doesn't matter how fast you are, it's not going to seem fast enough to them. And so like, if you're really dogging it and everything, like we should be trying to do the best we can, but it's like we're held to such an impossible standards. And when people then keep theirs low, it's like, you're totally missing the mark.
Mm.
But don't you think? I think we should want to expect that, right? Mm-hmm. I want my department that works beside me to try to outbeat my guys, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to try to outbeat their guys and be more aggressive and be faster on the job or faster on the scene. It's kind of it's not a race, but it is a race. You know what I mean? And it's a race to make sure that we're showing them a race to the objectives, not a race to just go somewhere, but a race to hit those benchmarks and hit those objectives being done. And whether it's a search, whether it's fire attack, whether it's venting, going to the roof or the dynamics of a fire scene, right? Or just an extrication kind of deal. But those are what I tell my guys is let's be better than they are, so they can be better than us. And it's not patting us on our back or not patting anybody else on the back. It's just showcasing our talent. And I think that's that people get their feelings upset about, is that we're showcasing talent that they have. We're just showcasing it and how to do it. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with how we do it or how fast we do it or how fast somebody else does it. Is I always want to be on the top of the top of the list. I always want to be first. And I want our guys to be first on scene, because I know my guys can do it. Mm-hmm. But but there again though, every department, every chief should expect the same thing with their member mindset, is they want their guys first. And it's a competition, but it's not a threatening competition. It's a competition, right? Mm-hmm. If you have multiple stations, whose station's better than yours? I worked at Little Rock for years and on a truck company. Our goal was to beat our next truck company to the scene, right? That was us. We wanted to be better than they were, right? Yeah. And we took pride in it. I think that's the other part about some of the fire services. We're missing the pride and the pride and ownership of what we do. And again, but it's okay to want to win. And I think there's a lot of people forget that they don't want to win sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to be the best. I mean, why would you not want to? The saying of like, be the person you want responding to your family. Like, I think it's cliche, but because people don't actually, they're like, whatever. But like, you take a hard look at that. It's like, okay, would you seriously, if your house was on fire, your kids, your wife, your husband, your mom, whatever, like they're trapped. Would you want to see yourself get off that rig? Right. And like, if you do, that's great. Keep working. But I think there's a lot of people that, and genuinely, if they answered that, would not want that. And you'd want the person that you're throwing shade at, that you're targeting, that is out doing all that stuff. And it's like, Well,
you do, but I think we owe it to each other and to our crew and to our department to want to be excellent, want to be at the top of our game on every time. But I think one of the biggest things of the drawback is we're not prepared for the citizens' expectations.
Yes,
we're not, and I think that's where we are failing in the fire service. We're comfortable with recliner training. We're comfortable with hitting it hard from the yard. We're comfortable with, well, that's not my problem. It is your problem. When they call 911, guess what? Ding, ding, ding. It becomes your problem. They need help. It doesn't matter what help it is. They need help. And they expect, in fact, not just expect, they demand excellence. And I think we don't have that many. I don't think we have folks in the fire service that truly believe that. And because the reason I say that, because it shows every time we go to a fire.
Mm-hmm.
And shame on y'all. Shame on you. Mm-hmm. If that's your mindset, man, I don't show up at my door.
All right.
How's that? A quote from FDNY: "The citizens expect bodybuilding, rocket scientists, brain surgeons to hop off the rig." I mean, you're never going to meet it. You might as well try.
We get called on somebody's worst time in their lives, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's somebody who's falling out of bed or somebody's house on fire, somebody's trapped, it's still somebody's worst part of their life, right? Mm-hmm. And why are we not prepared to be that brain surgeon or to be that engineer, or we're just, does that make sense? And so I'm not saying we all aren't, because there's many in the fire service that are into the job, that want what's best for those that we serve and want to better their department, want to better their crew. And I truly think and applaud them. But those ones that are holding us back, get out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Well, awesome. That wraps up our specific questions. So now Brennan's got the generic questions, we call them, that we've asked everyone, but still very deep, very, very insightful, and lead to great conversation.
So the first one, you can take this however you want, but the question is, why are we here?
Oh, that's a good one. Why are we here? Because you signed, because you filled out the application.
Sure.
And so
I like that.
You chose to fill out the application, and you know what? I'm glad that's a good question. And it goes back to what we just talked about a second ago about the passion and the energy and the mindset of what we want to do. Is why are we here? Well, why would you want anything less than being excellent in the fire service for yourself, right? I've heard many times lately, well, this is just a job. Well, you know what? It's really not. It's not just a job. This job, a normal job, is it's repetitive. This isn't a repetitive job, right? And so I frown upon those kind of comments, because in the end of the day, if you're just here for the job and not willing to get yourself better at it, this is going to come across, I hope not wrong, but you're wasting my time and you're wasting space. You just are. Because I want folks who are willing to make a change daily, and that's the reason that we're here. One of the reasons that we are here. I think another part of the reasons that we are here is because we want to challenge ourselves. We want to challenge ourselves to meet the need of our citizens and meet the need of our those that we serve. I'm not going to say the taxpayers, because it could be anybody, right? But at the end of the day, is why are we here? Is I think God, throw faith in it for a second, okay? I think God puts us here for a reason, and I truly believe that God puts that passion in your heart and willing to serve and willing to want to help others. I think that's a servant heart. And I believe that's my faith. That's my testimony is I want to help others by serving. And your first steps is knowing that you want to serve. And then the next step is how are you going to serve? And then fill that application out. Right. And then it kind of works our way up into where we're at, from a firefighter to an officer to a chief, is always continue to have that service, that servant heart. And so I hope that answers the question a little bit on that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. That was a great answer. Next question. What trainings/conferences have been your favorite to attend?
Oh, well, I'd be put first in aside, right? Obviously, that's my caveat right there. But man, I've been to several that I think they all are. I got to be honest with you. I think every one of them have a purpose, and every one of them have some really good opportunities to learn from. One, Into the Job is a great one that's just important. The Wichita Hot, and Kirk Isaacson with his CF Tactics down there is really a good one. And so, but I would just be transparent is I don't think you can put one higher than the other. I think as long as you're getting together in the fire service and you're learning from passionate instructors and that are educated and knowledgeable, has a street cred, that are just here to bring it to you. I think it doesn't matter. I think it's what you make of it on a conference. It's not what the conference makes of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. I like the answer.
Absolutely.
All right. How should we look at failures?
Ooh. Opportunities. Failures are opportunities. I told you this earlier at the beginning before we started I fail all the time. I probably fail trying to answer these stupid questions. And so we're not stupid, right?
Yeah. Whoa. That's
sorry. That was my squirrel moment, guys. I apologize. That was rude. If you want to,
we're deeply.
Now I'm sweating, guys. That was that one
one
moment. That can you delete that one moment? I just really appreciate that. I'm sorry.
No, because we understand what you mean.
Yeah,
we'll cry about it tonight, but we understand.
Oh yeah, he'd be like, well, Miss McCormick guy, don't ever ask him these questions again. Don't invite him anymore. So, no, I truly appreciate it. That was a bad moment. My bad. See now, ask me that question again.
He almost said it again.
How should we look at failures?
Failures are opportunities. Opportunities to learn and advance, and not only to advance but to help others. I like the opportunity. I'd like the opportunity to help people succeed. And honestly, failures really is just failure is one step below minimum expectations in my world. If you want to put that into a category for a second, but failing, to me, there should be the failure should not consist on the fire ground. I don't think there's a failure on the fire ground. I think there's opportunities to learn and to become better at what you did. But those are setbacks versus failures. And so failure is just not doing something in my mind. You're just failing. You're just not doing it. But setbacks are somewhere where we can learn and grow from and achieve a successful mission or a successful way of doing things to help you grow. We all fail in life. I know we all do. I do that. I just did about a few minutes ago by answering and saying that question, all those questions, right? A bad moment. But I think that we have an obligation and an opportunity when people say I failed. I can fail a test. Yeah. I hate tests, right? Paperwork and tests. I hate tests, right? A test just, to me, it tells me how stupid I am. I just be honest with you. But there's a purpose and a practical for that application. But our job, I think, in the fire service, not just take the titles away from each other, is to, if somebody's failing, we're going to be a part of that failure if we don't willing to help them grow. Mm-hmm. And it's our job to see it and then help fix it. Does that make sense? Because I don't want to continue to fail something, because if you continue to fail, that's just a pattern. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not willing to help fix that pattern or help fix that change or help fix that failure, that could become a liability. And not just a liability, that could become a life or death situation. If we're talking about fire stuff, right? In the working fires, those kind of deals. But at the end of the day, it's all of our obligations to find out those individuals who are failing or think that they're failing, and do our part to ensure that they become successful. Now, it's their job as well, whoever's failing, right, to want to achieve a successful goal, because I can't hold your hands. Yeah. None of us can hold your hands. We can lead you to the water. We just can't we can't tell you to drink. But is I guess I'll throw it back at you is for a second, is failure an option in the fire service?
We talk about a lot. That's why realistic training and everything is good, because while failures, even like small failures, we mentioned it with after action reports, like they're going to happen. There's not going to be a perfect scene. You want those catastrophic or those big failures or those real learning moments to try and come during training. It's going to happen. You're going to have a big one. I mean, it's just human nature, but yeah, that's why the realistic training is important, is what we talk about a lot.
No, you talk about you bring in realistic training. If you're not doing realistic training, you're wasting people's time.
Right.
I believe that. Now there's some parts that you can't do realistic training because it just is. But if you're not getting out there and doing as close to real world trainings, and bringing that involved into your training staff and that training mission, man, you're missing the point. Because really and truly, your first time shouldn't be let me back up. Your first time out in a scene shouldn't be your first time knowing how to do something or trying to teach somebody how to do something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's times and places that we're in the training world, we're trying to get you prepared for those types of incidents, but you got to have live burns. You got to have realistic searches. You got to have realistic fire pushes. You got to have realistic venting, VES, realistic stuff to be able to show you that you can do it.
Yeah.
And not just show me, but show your team. And because at the end of the day, it's getting you guys out there. If you're light staff, it's not freelancing. It's going to do an objective, right? I don't have to tell my guys to go do something because we're light staff sometimes. We're light staff. There's checking those boxes, making those priorities, and doing those objectives. Right? Not every box is going to get filled, but do what you can to get them to get what you can to make sure that either it's not the house is not is searchable, right? And go searching. Those are the things that I would expect you to know prior to going to a live burn or live fire, a real fire.
Absolutely.
Getting your guys in there doing reps and doing those searches, being prepared and being knowledgeable with what the tools you have.
Absolutely.
And another thing about failures, you said just admitting. I think that's the first step in looking at failures, is admitting your failures.
Yeah.
Yep. I like that. Thank you for saying that, because that should be the number one priority.
Don't be scared of admitting your failures. Everyone does.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? Honestly, I'll give you more props to tell me you don't know how to do something or that you failed than versus me trying to tell you that you failed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Hey Ryan, I messed up. Help me fix this. All right, great. You know what? You just told me that you need help. Right? Yeah. You just showed me that, hey, you're not prepared for this. So it's my job to get you better, or find a way to get you better. Right?
Absolutely.
And admitting it should be the number one priority. Mm-hmm. So thank you for bringing that up, Brandon.
All right. The last kind of generic question we have for you is, what do you tell your probies to expect when they get hired on day one?
I tell them a lot, but brace yourself to be excellent. Have an aggressive mindset. This is going to sound crazy, but or a little bit dumb, but I'm going to throw it out there. Clean the toilets just as much as you're going to clean the fire trucks. Mm-hmm. That passion. That passion. I want the toilets as clean as that fire truck when it goes out to visit people or go see them on the road. I know it's kind of a different, and it's awkwardness, but honestly, at the end of the day, I tell them a couple things to be prepared for is knowing your job, being effective in how you do your job, and placing them first. And I think that's the most important thing is placing them first. And then don't be afraid to ask questions. Mm-hmm. I think that's the main one. I think the biggest one I tell these guys when we're sitting in the office or sitting in the room is that please don't be afraid to ask questions, because if I don't know, you don't know, I can't answer them for you, or my guys can't answer them for you. And I think we're afraid as a young. Remember us when we were young and dumb and we started the fire service, man. We didn't want to be that guy. Or we didn't want to sit and answer those questions, because if we said something, everybody else in the room is going to make us look like we're just dumb. right? but I want you to answer. I want you to ask those questions, because those questions are going to lead into something even more. And so ask those questions. Now, don't continue to ask the same question over and over and over, but ask those questions, right? And I want and I think at the end of the day is what can I do to help you be successful? And I leave that with them at the end when I'm walking out. Is I want to know what I can do to help you be successful. Yeah. And I leave it at that.
One of the best kind of mindset, one piece of advice that I was given that I try and pass on whenever I have the opportunity, which actually will be tomorrow. We have 2 guys that started today. Is don't let anyone take away your passion for this job or your excitement. Like, I usually lead it up with I was given it almost very quick, and like I try and still look back at that day one of being hired on a full-time department, like all the schooling, you're a volunteer usually before that, sometimes not, but like all that stuff and that excitement that you get on day one, or like even that first fire. And it's like, usually people get ripped on that. It's like, oh, look how excited this guy is. Like, wait until they've been on 5, 6, 7, 20, whatever. Like, and it's like, I try and it's just don't let that leave. Because if you don't, all of the stuff we've talked about, that passion, the desire to be good, like that will all come naturally if you always are as excited as day one, because it's the best feeling ever. Like,
it is. And you know what? I've been burned before on this passion question, right? And we all have. The longer you're in the service, the longer you're gonna have to rekindle that passion. And you know what? Shame on those folks in the fire service that try to take away that passion, because they had it at one point. They had it, and so why is it your obligation to take it away from somebody else? It's not. It's jealousy. Or I can go down a whole another path about why they're doing it, because they don't get it. They can't stand with you. You're leaving them behind. They're sitting in the corner while you walk by them. A lot of different things. But shame on those individuals to take the excitement and the passion away from anybody, because it's not their place.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the best job in the world.
It really is. Yep, it really is. I mean, good.
You get paid to be there. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
It is. It's amazing. People say, well, it's just a job. Well, no, it's not. It's a career, right? It is. It's a career, and it's also something. It's a lifestyle. And your lifestyle depends on how you want to, how much passion you have.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, I love the job. I love talking about and being passionate about the fire service. I could go on and on and on about that as well. But I think, again, just, don't be afraid to showcase that passion. And if somebody tries to put a lid on it or put water on that fire, rekindle it and find, and one of the best ways I found out is those folks that are trying to, that are attacking your passion is again, understand they don't get it, right? They don't understand it. They don't get it. But at the end of the day is those individuals that you surround yourself and your networking, right, that care about it. Those are the ones that you focus on. Those are the ones that you focus your passion with, and let these other guys just stay behind in a closet, because they really don't matter. They just don't. They don't.
Absolutely. Well, like Brennan said, that wraps up the questions that we've got for you. Now we only have the last 2 closing ones. So we've got our question from our previous guest, who is our good friend Tom Nicholson. He's a firefighter paramedic up by us in the Wisconsin area. Okay. And his question is, how do you go about your days dealing with the heat? He said, how can you continue to stay operationally ready and while continuing to train is a big thing. You already mentioned how hot it is there today.
Yeah, it's 100 degrees here in Arkansas today. So, so acclimation is really important. We actually, most of our guys get out and work out outside and in the mornings, and then it's difficult. Let me back up. Hydrate. You got to hydrate, because it's any part you got to hydrate. But anyway, long story short is we just get ourselves out there in the environment. Not every day, but most of the time we're doing something outside. And like I said, our training doesn't really have to be an outside all the time, but we do get ourselves, we do our gear on. We do get out and get involved in a 30-minute exercise or a 15-minute nugget right here or there that we get acclimated. Now backtrack, 90% of our guys in the fire service here in Arkansas have jobs that do something outside. So we are outside in the environment, in the heat, more than just at work. But we it's a fine line. On hot days, I want our guys to stay inside as much as possible because of the effect and the toll of how hot it is on an incident. But you become resilient with what you have and what you brought. How you do things, and be acclimated with that.
Sure.
Awesome. Yeah, we had Dave Pruitt, Chief Pruitt from down in Texas. I think it was last year at this point that we had him on, but at the time we had him on, I think it was our springtime or something. Maybe it was fall, but he said that they were on like day 150 in a row of like 100+ degree weather, and we're just like, holy shit!
Oh,
It's so much different for us up here than down there. So
we got the humidity as well to contend with too. So it's what it was. I think we had 100-degree heat index at 9:00 this morning. It's warm. It's warm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. That wraps up the easy part for us. That's all the questions that we have for you. And so now it's the hard one for you. The question for our next guest, who's going to be Bo Butler.
Okay. So you should have gave me a homework assignment because I could have.
No, we like on the spot. That's the best.
Yeah. Let's see. How about what's your best way to resolve conflict?
Oh,
I'm gonna take an administrative. I'm gonna do an administrative answer question. There's that chief hat for a second, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So what's the best way to resolve conflict?
I like that. It's not easy coming up with questions, and Brad and
I
have to do it. We have to do it all the time because people only send in like one question. So send in more questions, people.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're good questions. They're good questions.
Yeah,
so,
we try.
They're good questions. Yeah.
Having an audience of firefighters doesn't really work when you ask for the questions that come in. So
That's absolutely.
We've heard that from everybody, all the way up to even Corley Moore. We had him on. He was like, dude, I couldn't do it. He's like, I tried doing a bit of sending out questions. Nobody was sending questions. So
no, nobody.
If we get one, we're happy.
Just go on the fly. I mean, you're doing a good job. Just go on the fly. When you sit around with other firefighters and around the kitchen table or just around the table, those questions are going to come up. You don't have to. They just do. They just come up. So that's important.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for spending the time. The last part that we have here is what we call the kitchen table, kind of like what you just mentioned. Any last minute shout outs that you want to have, anything that you want to touch on more that you wanted to dive into maybe a little bit deeper, any conferences, people to shout out? This part's yours just while we sit around and kill that last time.
Man, I appreciate it. First off, to both of you guys, thank you. Thanks for letting me just answer some of your questions and share a little bit about my belief and what I believe in the fire service and just in general, showcasing what's fun in the fire service for me. We could spend hours and hours and hours on this, honestly, and we can go around the circle and just have a good time talking. But anyway, I do appreciate the opportunity and getting out there and sharing with those that listen to your all's podcasts and stuff. It's just neat. So the other thing I would tell you is if I don't mind, take a moment to just share about First In. I think that to me is First In's coming up, and which you said you're going to have this going to be sent out in August.
Yeah, so the first Tuesday of August. So yeah, yours is September, so you should have a little bit of time.
Awesome. So we have at my big conference that we do. I do 2 different conferences a year. One in September and one in the first part of the other year. September 10th through the 13th in Little Rock, Arkansas, is First In Fire Conference, and I just kind of. I can walk down who's coming to teach or who's coming to lecture and kind of walk you through if you got a few seconds, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
the first day is Corley Moore. He's going to spend 8 hours of just bringing that his the 9 L's and just everything that he can bring into what's important about the fire service and what Corley just shares. And then we'll have 8 hours of just spending time with them, listening and just having a good time. The next 2 days are individual lectures from Anthony Rowlett, Kyle Romagus, Clyde Gordon, Sean Duffy, Robert Ramirez, Eric Budd from Rescue 3 in New York, Rescue 3 at DC. Nick Peppard, I know you guys know Nick. And Jeremy Nouch from National Fire Radio, he'll be here. And then on those are 2 days more of just talent and lecture talking and listening for a lecture style series. And then Saturday, the last day, is hands-on. And I'm kind of looking forward to that. Todd Edwards and his crew are doing live burns, live fire. Again, going back to realistic training, realistic fire attack and putting you through that. Kyle Romagus is going to be here with the keys to success with key hose and just hose and nozzle work and flowing water. Hang on. Robert Ramirez, Mayday Mindset. He came last year. He came last year to the event and he put on a phenomenal hands-on class. So he and his cadre will be here and doing an 8-hour course as well. And then the fast guys from Fastboard. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. For Eric Allen and his crew and his gang, they're going to be here doing firefighter survival, firefighter removal, victim removal, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, a lot of moving parts going on. The cost is $350 for the entire week or the 4 days. And so we'll have events and socials in the evening, every evening as well, somewhere downtown in Little Rock. But I go back to my goal is to keep it financially affordable for everybody. And so $350 is to get all these folks here was for $350 for 4 days. I truly think that's reasonable to get folks in here. So I'm excited. If you share that and again, firstin.net is our website, and it shows you registration, how to get there. My phone number, you can look me up on Facebook, and I can get you everything there as well. But if you don't mind, help me just share it and share with others, share with everybody else. And my goal is to transition and pack the place to build a better event and to build a better opportunities for folks to learn. And so one of the cool parts for the venue is going to be at the Little Rock local 34 Little Rock Fire Department firefighters, local 34, their union hall. And so we transition from a hotel to their union hall. So I'm excited about that as well. Yeah. So a lot of good things going on with First In. But anyway, if it's not my conference you go to someone's conference. And that's my story, and I'm gonna stick to it. I want you to go and learn and become better. But if you don't come to First In, go somewhere, because there's a lot of opportunities you're missing from sitting in the recliner. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this will be aired afterwards, but we got about a week out from firemanship, so we'll be down there for that. It's another great conference. So that's especially now local for us, which is pretty awesome. Just down in Chicago area. So
nice, that's awesome,
pretty great. But yes, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. We know you got a lot of stuff to get ready for today and take care of. So
yes, sir.
Thank you for coming on and taking the time.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
Yep, I appreciate the opportunity again. Really do. Very humble.
Absolutely. Of course. Well, thank you everybody for watching and listening. Again, thanks for coming on, Ryan. And as always, don't be a shitbag.
Thanks for listening. Thank you, Ryan. Don't